YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH, double honors to GMS who told me this truth. Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So we have a story here. The cashless future is here. So is Big Brother. So it says, America may soon be poised to go cashless. Now the nation must decide if ditching the dollar bill is a good idea. 2/5 of Americans used no cash in 2022. Back in 2015, by contrast, fewer than 1/4 of consumers went cashless, according to Pew surveys. In a separate poll, 3/5 of consumers told Gallup they used cash only on occasion last year, twice the share of 5 years ago. So consumers used cash for 20% of all payments in 2021, down from 31% in 2016, according to the Federal Reserve. In place of cash, shoppers favored the credit card 28% and debit card 29%. People have literally been changing the way they pay for goods and services. 19 hastened the cashless trend. The pandemic-inspired fears largely misguided that the cough might spread on the currency. Many consumers stopped carrying cash. I think it's very much like the jump into e-commerce we saw during the pandemic. I think we're going to continue to see a slow evolution away from cash. So much of the nation hasn't looked back. 3/5 of wealthy Americans, those with six-figure household incomes, told Pew pollsters they used no cash in a typical week in 2022. More than half of the under 50 demographic told Pew they no longer worry about carrying cash. There are good reasons why people change the way they pay, and it has to do with a combination of benefits to consumers and benefits to businesses. When you ask retailers you've gone cash-free, they're primarily small retailers, and a lot of them are pretty straightforward. After my store got robbed the 5th time, I decided it wasn't worth taking cash. Accepting bills and coins in 2022 is easier for a large established business, harder for a small startup. You have to have safes, you have to have security cameras, you have to have a certain kind of cash register. And just scrolling down. So debit cards basically replace checks, yet even in 2022, some Americans cling to cash. Older Americans still use cash for roughly 1/4 of purchases, according to Fed data. Low-income families, those earning less than $25,000 per year, rely on cash for more than 1/3 of their purchases. There's still a significant chunk of Americans who are either unbanked or underbanked. Underbanked consumers have bank accounts but rely on overpriced alternatives such as payday loans and check cashing shops. Credit card companies typically charge transaction fees that range from 1% to 3% of the purchase price. Together, Visa and MasterCard collected $138 billion in services fees in 2021. They're among the most profitable companies in the world. Shops generally pass that cost to the consumer. To the critics of the credit industry, those fees amount to a tax. Can you imagine if we had a 1% to 3% national sales tax? What we could do with that money, Stanley said. Shalom.